Damn, Ko is good. I know a lot of different people have already said it a lot of different ways, covering how it portrays the idol industry, obsession, and online harassment, but I've been watching season 2 and just had to say it my own way. The series continues to impress me with its care towards delicate subjects, and I enjoy learning through this series about what the industry is really like for actors, manga artists, directors, screenwriters, and so on. For now, I want to talk about how Ko portrays the effects of trauma. Spoiler warning for both Season 1 and 2. In Season 2's best episode so far, Aqua is given a script which will require an exaggerated emotional performance, and is totally unwilling to try it out the way the director is asking him to. Arima, with her years of experience in emotional acting, offers him advice on how he can draw out fear and grief in his performance, mentioning he should practice bringing happy memories to the front of his mind. She doesn't realize that one thing she said is causing Aqua extreme distress. A little bit later, he closes his eyes and thinks of what happy means to him in a very wholesome sequence. He sees his sister doing what she loves. He sees his friends and coworkers goofing off. For a second, he relaxes until a shadowy version of his past self reaches out from the depths of his heart, admonishing him for daring to feel joy. A wave of nausea hits and he has to leave the set, with everyone thinking he must be hungover or anemic. Everyone but Akane, who is scarily observant. She knows he's having a panic attack and takes him to the home of someone he trusts so he can rest. Aqua can't get the image of Ai's death out of his mind, replaying what happened over and over, and calling her name in his sleep, which leads to Akane figuring out the connection between Aqua, Ruby, and the famous idol Ai. This scene hit me really hard. Just emotionally, it's a lot, and for the entirety of the episode, I was unable to look away. I'm going to go into more detail concerning Aqua's psychological state during this scene, why it has the impact it does, and why it's the best recent portrayal of PTSD in anime. Now, it's not a question that Aqua has PTSD. It's explicitly said in the episode, but this is the first time the anime has explored Aqua's psyche in depth. And I want to go over how accurate his symptoms are to the actual symptoms. So first, the definition. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health condition that's triggered by a terrifying event, either experiencing it or witnessing it. It's different from regular trauma because the person becomes stuck, their nervous system unable to forget and move on. Symptoms include the following: difficulty experiencing positive emotions or being able to identify what you're feeling at all. Aqua is living his life muted. He never shows his emotions on his face or gives away what he's thinking to those around him, yet he's often under a lot of emotional pressure. Depression can also be described like that, but in this case it has to do with disassociation from trauma. When you have PTSD, the way you can experience joy or sadness is limited, because in your attempt to disassociate from the negative emotions, you disassociate from the positive ones as well. I think that's why the exercise of thinking up happy memories was such a challenge for him. Feeling detached from family and friends, feeling you have to hide what you've experienced and how it affects you. Aqua does not want his sister Ruby to know he needs help, and has been pretending this whole time that he's made a full recovery. I'd like to add he is of course also hiding the fact that revenge against Ai's killer is his sole purpose for living. He has almost completely isolated himself, keeping those around him at arm's length, even the people who are clearly important to him. Severe emotional distress or physical reactions to something that reminds your nervous system of the trauma. Panic attacks always have a trigger, and triggers can be anything from a smell to a certain type of person to a location. For him, it was what Arma said when giving well-meaning acting advice. If your mom were to die, what would you do? Aqua is reminded in the moment that his mom is dead and was murdered right in front of him when he was young. This does not send him immediately into a panic attack, but it's still the cause of his panic attack. Overwhelming guilt or shame. The difference, by the way, being that guilt is, I failed, and shame is, I am a failure. The shadow that haunts him could represent survivor's guilt or his burning hatred and anger about what happened and how he was unable to stop it. Still, he is blaming himself for something he was simply too young to do anything about. How is it fair for anyone to say to a child, "You're a failure because you didn't stop the adult with a knife from attacking your mom"? Blaming a victim, period, is ridiculous, but because the child is him, Aqua is being unreasonably hard on himself. This shame was triggered by him trying to focus on the sensation of happiness. It's as if he won't allow himself to be happy or love again until the person who took Ai away from him is dead. This could have to do with his unhealthy obsession with Ai and with revenge. Final symptom, flashbacks, which is your body and mind reliving the trauma as if it's happening in the present. Aqua gets physically sick, experiencing shaking, nausea, and what seems to be a fever and migraine. As he lies in bed, he is reminded of what it was like to watch Ai get stabbed in her own home, what it was like to smell the blood soaking her clothes and to feel her hand growing colder as she left him and his sister alone in the world. I don't have words for how awful that is. The soundtrack really adds to the horror of it all, how hopeless and afraid he must have felt. Just like Akane says, I felt sad, thinking how lonely it must have been not being able to tell anyone. To sum it up, the portrayal of trauma and PTSD is perfect in Oshi no Ko. It made me feel a lot of things, obviously, but mostly it made me feel seen. I can think of tons of anime protagonists that should have PTSD considering what they've been through, but can only count on one hand the protagonists that actively struggle with the effects of trauma. As bad as it sounds to say, I like that Aqua is a protagonist with PTSD and that it's not something the series shies away from. I mean, that's why I watch anime, or media in general, to be seen, but also to learn about experiences and perspectives outside of my own. I'm looking forward to what the rest of Season 2 of the anime has to offer. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time!